The month of May has come to a close, and we made $1,586.11 trading in the month of May. And in this video, we are going to dive into the takeaways, the summation of the results, and all the good stuff. Let's get into first things first. I did film this entire video and then realized that I stopped the recording about 30 seconds in. So we're doing it again now, but it's okay because I can probably do it better, more effectively, more efficiently, which is going to be actually really good. But you can see that starting things off, we had 2 red days for the month. Now, I'll be honest with you. I don't really care that much about how many red days I have versus green days, whereas in the past I did. I thought that was a big deal. It's not. What's more of a big deal to me is this number right here and this number right here, which, by the way, if you know trading or you've been following these monthly recaps, which I do post every single month, you will know that these are really freaking good numbers in my opinion, and also from my results. If I was to rock these numbers every single month, it would not be very long. I would say give it 2 to 3 years before I am never seen again, because I will be fucking off on a mountain or in a mansion somewhere. The reality is, though, that that's not going to, well, it could. I'm not going to say it's not going to happen. It could. Is that based off of my numbers and now tracking over 1,000 trades here on TradeZilla, which, by the way, this is now, we're over 1,000 trades tracked, journaled, and logged. I know my numbers are closer to 50%. Okay. But doesn't mean you can't get better. So what I'm going to do first is I want to compare this to last month, and then I want to talk about these numbers a bit. And then I want to get into the nitty gritty, which we'll get into the report section. We'll talk about the biggest winners, losers, biggest takeaways, and then my plan for the future. So that's what we're going to do. So obviously a good number there, right? We'll take that number compared to what we've been getting. If you were to go back to last month, we had essentially a break-even month. We made $88. If you were to go back 1 month prior to that, if you were to go back to March I was red. I lost $191. And if you were to go back to February, what do we make in February? We lose or make? We made $868. Okay, that's pretty good. So we did technically lose in March, break even, I'd call it, in April, and then in May we made a good chunk of change, nearly $1,600, which I will take that. That's for sure. So the biggest takeaways, though, was my win rate was substantially better. So if you were to go back to last month, my win rate was under 50%, and my average win-loss, which was not bad, a 1.52. Let me tell you guys, I'll take that any day. However, we can do better than that, and this month we did. This month we averaged a 2.29, meaning that on average, my winners made me 2.29x my losers. So I made, on average, my average winner was 127, my average loser was 55. Now, we can even take it a step further back, because I haven't done this in a while, or I don't think I've ever showed this comparison. I definitely showed this at some point, but I haven't showed this comparison. If you were to go back to May 2023, my positions, or I took 41 trades, I made almost $700, and my win rate was actually similar. My average risk reward was actually way worse, and my sizing was way smaller. But what's cool to me is that you can kind of see the progression. So 1 year later, with a similar win rate, what have I done? Did I improve? Like, have I been getting better? And obviously the market conditions are different, but I did improve a substantial amount, in my opinion, because my average win-loss is so much better now. It's so much better. And if I were to go to currently my year-to-date, my average win-loss at 1.81 is still really good compared to what it was 1 year ago. So I'm happy with that. And as I've talked about in the past, this chart, which has been kind of up and to the right so far this year, I'm happy with. The plan, which I'll get into in a bit for sizing, I'm going to get to at the end, but it's not going to be as drastic as maybe some people would like to see or want to see, you know, or think it's cool or flashy, and I'll explain why. But let's get to the fun part. We did go on an 11-0 run at one point. We had 11 winners in a row. Then we lost 5 in a row, and we finished out with 2 winners. So that's kind of how it finished out. For the report section, which is really kind of fun to look at, let me just pop myself off the screen. This is going to go, or yeah, what is it going to go? This is going to go all time. So I'm revealing it all. So check this out. So I haven't talked about this very, very much, but I think it's worthwhile to talk about in these monthly recaps because I have some more time to just kind of shoot the shit. But if I were to go, well, here's my all time. So this is since I made a trade, I opened a TradeZella account. Okay. We were like kind of all over the place. And then I fell into the deep, dark despair back in April of 2023. And I was down about $3,100. And I was like, man, I can't figure this shit out. I was trading options at the time. And I was like, man, like I had profit. I was doing well. And then I just gave it back. And like, what happened? What happened back in here was this guy had no strategy. So this is an example of a P&L curve that you might see with someone who does not have a strategy, and I didn't have one. I was trading 17 different strategies with no consistency, really bad risk management, no thought really of risk reward, and I got screwed. I had some massive red days. I had days where I would lose $1,000. Then I'd have a bunch of days where I'd kind of make some money back little by little, get back up and go green, and then I'd lose it all again. And then I just fell apart at one point, and that was kind of the beginning of 2023 for me. I just fell apart. And I was like, this is it. I can't do it. It's over. But something clicked at the end of April of 2023 where I said to myself, I'm done being a bitch. I'm done not having a strategy. I'm going to trade one strategy for a year, and I'm going to see what happens. And let me tell you guys, now, obviously, you look at the P&Ls, and you're like, he's up $2,600. Okay, I wouldn't look too much at the dollar amount, or I don't look too much at the dollar amount because I'm sitting here saying to myself, I'm just going to trade a strategy with sizing that I feel good with. Simple as that. Sizing that I feel comfortable with, and that was it. And what I essentially did was I slowly grinded my way back up consistently. I did have a period of time in the summer, I believe August, September, where I was like shopping around. And then I grinded up in the fall again. And then we had, a month or two so far to start the year off where we kind of just chopped a bit. But generally, we've been up and to the right and have eclipsed the original, we were originally at. But technically speaking, if you want to go from low to high, we're up over almost $6,000 from that point. Is the dollar amount a big deal? No. Am I pulling this money out? Am I is it paying the bills? No. It's not. It's not paying the bills. Could it pay the bills one day? Maybe. Do I envision it ever paying the bills necessarily by itself? No, I don't think that that's a realistic way for me to play this game long term. I want to have more reliable passive income to pay the bills, and then the trading money will be like icing on the cake to build up more passive income or to do other things and other investments and whatever. That's kind of the intention of it. But besides the point, if you jump over to the right, the net daily P&L, you can see exactly what I was talking about. So this P&L, go back or go to right in here in April, mid-April, when I made that decision. I was like, yo, we're going to stop this stupid shit. That's when it changed. And look at the P&L. It's been much more tame. We see a lot more that's actual trading. That's consistency over the past 13 months versus this was not consistent at all. Yeah, we had bigger days and we had massive losing days. I lost $1,300 in one day. If I lost $1,300 right now, that would be an absolute obliteration of all my rules. That's not, it's impossible. It's possible, but it's almost like I would have to enter a different person would have to take control of my mind in order for me to lose that much money now. It just won't happen. It's just not possible. It's not going to happen. I'll step away. I will step away way before that even gets close to happening. It just won't. But that's me being an idiot and not knowing what I was doing back then, realistically. But I've learned a lot from that point. So let's go to this month. And now you can kind of see the numbers a little bit better. Here are the dates or the stats for this month. And it's pretty solid, dude. I mean, largest winner was 266. Largest loser was 89. I mean, it's great stuff. I mean, for all I can say. Average hold time was over a day, almost 2 days. We had a lot of swings in there. over 2 days for all trades was our average hold time. Our multiples I don't track these. I don't log them. This is based off of a couple of trades that were on Trade Locker. I transitioned from DX Trade to Trade Locker on one of my accounts. And so these numbers are like automated, but they don't really reflect the truth of what my numbers are like. I refer back to the risk reward, average risk reward, and my win rate. That's all I really care about. Okay, let's go to instruments and let's talk about all of them. So these are all the symbols. I traded less than 20 symbols. So here are all the symbols I traded this month. And you can see that we go from losers to winners. Silver was great. AMC, we traded 3 times, made some money. NASDAQ, we have the NAS 100 here and then the NDX 100 here. We made a lot of money, or not a lot, made some decent change on that. And booking was the biggest loser. Happy with those numbers. Happy with them. Can't complain. If we jump down to now my tags, so my setups, this is where I like to get into the good stuff. Bull flags, I did trade 4 of them, or sorry, bear flags, I traded 4, which did net me a profit, but it was a 50-50 shot. So I only made, I won on half those trades, and I made $99 on bear flags this month. Market's been trending up, so not surprising. Bear flag trendline breakdown, that was on AMC. So that was the one trade on AMC making 161. I don't have a lot of data on those, but it's essentially a little bit of an offshoot to my breakdown strategy. Bull flag, we obviously traded a lot of those because the market's been going up, which is not surprising, and that made me over $800. Failed breakdown, we had 2 of those. I believe one was on silver and one was on something else. I can't remember off the top of my head, but those also both worked and made me $332. I'll incorporate more of these as I track more. I just don't have a lot of data on them yet, but as I track more and we have more data, I'll be incorporating them more. But so far, some good sign. I've traded it pretty well. I don't make mistakes, so there's obviously nothing to be putting in this category, and I'll move on to the next one. No, but in all seriousness, though, like there really wasn't anything that I do make mistakes. The biggest mistake, which I don't even want to call it a mistake, the biggest thing I can work on is improving my scaling out. And a perfect example of that is T-Mobile, which I took my profits before 173 and look at what it did. You know, it had an absolute explosive move, went to one side. I could have made, could have milked out an extra, 50, $100 on the trade, which would have been awesome, but I didn't. I'm not great with scaling out, but I also don't get mad at myself for that. I don't put it as a mistake because when I achieve good risk reward, and when I say good risk reward, meaning like making a lot more than what I was planning to risk on a trade, and I want to cut the whole position off, dude, take the money. I'm not going to get mad at myself for that. I'm never going to get mad at myself for that because I know my numbers. If I'm doing that and I'm taking small, tiny profits here and there, I'm getting scared about positions, then we have a problem. And that's maybe if I size up too fast, which I'll get into in a second, we can be seeing more of that. But I'm not doing that. So I don't want to say that that's a mistake. Daily time frame charts. So charts or swing trades initiated off the 1-day time frame. We made money on those. 1 hour chart, believe it or not, we traded a lot of those this month, or 5 of those. And those made me the most money. 5-minute chart, we had 5 trades there, but maybe it made me some money, nothing crazy. 1 week charts, we had 1 trade on that time frame, which technically lost. And a 4-hour time frame did very well with 3 trades, making me almost $500. This is what I want to get. Like, this is if there's an area that I can critique a bit, it's now, like I talked about before, I don't track this, but I'd be curious to see how much time I'm spending on the charts to make what I make. As in, like, okay, how much time do you spend doing all this stuff to make $1,600? Are you making $10 an hour? Are you making $50 an hour? Are you making $100 an hour? You know what I mean? And I would argue that it makes less sense, at least with my current position sizing and my current results, to trade the 5-minute time frame versus the bigger time frames, because the bigger time frames I tend to enter and then walk away because it's going to take longer to play out anyway, so I don't have to worry about checking the chart every 2 seconds. So now in terms of scaling up, what is the plan to scale up? The plan to scale up is not going to be aggressive. What I was in the video that I filmed prior that didn't end up making it, that got cut off. If I were to achieve the exact same numbers as in total trades, win rate or win percentage, and average win loss, My goal would be, if these numbers were the exact same, which they won't be, or it's very, very unlikely that they will be for next month. They could probably be better or worse. I would try to be, I'd hope to be up around $2,000 in a P&L, as in profits, which would be like a small incremental bump in my sizing, is kind of like where my mind is at from that perspective. So hopefully that kind of makes some sense. We are getting exceptionally close to passing some of the phases of these prop firm accounts. One of the accounts we're at $10,725, and I'll pull the other one up here in a second. But this account, once I hit $11,000, I move on to phase 2. Then I have to make like $600, and then we're into the funded phase. And then this account right here, which is my one of one account, where is my balance on this account? It's somewhere down here. Oh yeah, it's down here. I'm covering it. It's down here where we have current equity of $26,729. Once that hits $27,000, then I'm on to phase 2. So we're very close to passing the first phases of these accounts. And not to get into the nitty gritty of these guys, but and to like, get all like, whoa. Surge Trader, which was the first prop firm that I used ever, which if you go to their website, they went down as of a week ago to when I'm filming this video. So, which I'm not surprised, to be honest with you. I was halfway through their phase 1 of one of their prop firm challenges. And so as I was halfway through that challenge, they switched things up and they got rid of stocks. And I was like, okay, well, I trade a lot of stocks, so I can't use your platform. And then I was like, yo, give me a refund. And then they gave me a hard time. They eventually did. Either way, I got a refund and moved on, but I had to essentially restart. So if I didn't have to restart, we may be looking at a lot, passing some of these challenges at this point in terms of getting funded. However, there's no rush. The true sizing up based off of what I have won't really come, in my opinion, until I pass and establish a cushion, because I can only size up a little bit at a time. The true sizing up, if I establish a cushion, meaning like I'm well above my 25K accounts, like thresholds and whatever, then I can start to size up a bit more and build a cushion above my like max loss. And so that's how it will go. But at the same time, what I will probably do is I will open up, as long as there's a trade copier available, I will open up a separate account. So I have a 25K account. I will open up a 100K account, and I will attach a trade copier to the 100K account, and I will continue to trade the 25K account. That's what I'd be used to. And then it will just 4x the sizing, my position sizing on the 100K account. So like the same like percentage risk reward and stuff will just be played out there. That's what I'm gonna do in the future. I've been testing it out with a smaller account, a 6K account. So that's what we're gonna do. So like the true sizing up, like we're probably like if things like I can't tell you what's gonna happen. I have no idea, because we could have the next 3 months just be like dead and I go break even or I even lose. I don't know. But if, let's say, I continue on a similar pace, not if I even continue on half the pace that I was on, we're probably looking at like by the fall of this year, by fall of 2024, like the numbers should start becoming like meaningful. And when I say meaningful, I mean in like relation to like average US salaries type numbers. You know what I mean? Like, okay, now this month we made a couple thousand if we had a good month. And that's kind of what like on the average scale of salaries, whatever the average salary is, like, okay, a couple $1,000s a month starts to get you closer to those numbers. And they're more meaningful, which would be kind of cool in my view, because, now I can start, if I can pull money out, now we can start making moves with, debts, investments, etc. So that's the plan. That's the scaling plan. Nothing aggressive, but if the numbers remain the same, I would anticipate we're looking maybe at like 2K this month if I have the same month next month. Hopefully it's better, but we shall see. That is the recap. I will leave a link to TradeZelle like always down below. I've tracked over 1,000 trades on this platform. It was a platform that I started using before I really even knew what I was doing. But I attribute this, like, I'm not even kidding. If I were to go back to like, I don't know, whenever I started tracking, if I go back to that main like page, that I was on a few minutes ago. I attribute this, like, seriously, the results that I've seen now, let's go back to like April 2023, to tracking my data. Because had I not tracked my data, I wouldn't have the confidence to be able to do this. Like I'm this is the past 13 months. I wouldn't be at this. I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't lose for years, or I didn't lose for years. I had a lot of ups and downs, I would say. If I didn't have a lot of ups and downs and inconsistency, just it's simply what it was. It was inconsistency. If I go back, I'll go back to, I believe it was October. I'm going to even just go back even beyond that. Let's go to 2022, which I'm pretty sure I was not using the platform back then. But yeah. Like, this was inconsistency. And because of that, I learned, like, there's a learning curve. I tracked, I journaled, I logged, I figured out, like, I have no consistency here. And I found that consistency 13 months ago. And since then, it's been great. Up days, down days, but it's been a lot more consistent than what it was prior. So, like, when I say, like, oh, like, I use this platform, I don't care. Like, here you go. I don't care about trying to push shit. This channel makes me a few $100s a month. Full transparency. So a couple dollars in ad revenue, and maybe a few dollars in affiliate sales here and there. But like, when I talk about, like, oh, I use this stuff, like, this is legit. Like, I pay for I pay for it. I've been paying them every year for the subscription the past 2 years. And, like, it actually helps. And I will happily continue to pay them because it actually works and helps. When I say it works for me and it helps me. So I can't, like, explain how important tracking your data is outside of showing you this chart. Hopefully the chart continues to go up to the right. And if it does, you'll be here for the ride. I'll be sharing it along the way. Thanks so much. Enjoy your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.